We are discussing the Ayin of sphirot Lamaila. We had the mocho from the koiches nefesh, but now we have to try and understand how this Ayin is Lamaila. Sorry. So we quoted from various sources, all the way from Sefer Yetzirah, that there's a tzir odom. That this is in a tzir odom, and this is, as he explains, he slapshus oil bikli. And we almost repeating verbatim the same explanation, same terminology as we used in explaining the koiches nefesh. We are going to start from the line that begins the word mocho, and it is 7 lines from the end of that from that paragraph. Begins on page Yud Aleph, that begins Ois Hey. Line begins with the word mocho. Huh?
7 from here.
No, 7 from the bottom.
Okay.
And at the end of that line, we are identifying each sphirot in terms of right and left and up and down. Clearly, this is from oil bikli, and not only oil bikli in a peripheral manner, but in the slapshus. Slapshus means that they actually relate to one another. And we explained the other day what hislapshus, just to get an idea what I mean by the word hislapshus. Hislapshus means does not. It's trying to, so to speak, to contrast. We're just putting something in a keli, but they don't relate to one another. The keli and the element that you put into it. If you put pebbles in a glass, in a cup, stones, they don't relate to one another. It's just a means of carrying the stones. But the stones don't belong to the keli. The keli is not made to carry the stones. If you put water in a keli, in a cup, then the water relates to the cup and the cup relates to the water. The water spreads and completely fills the keli. And it is the keli that demarcates the presence of the water. It's a real slapshus. So the similar Indian, we say that there's chesed in the right arm, the left arm, and then there is chochmah mocho. Chochmah is moach. It is moach, which means that the chochmah is actually mislavish in the moach, in the kli hamoach. So I'm going to start at the end of that line that begins with the word mocho. Sheyesh lechol oir keli miyuchedes. That for each oir there is a unique keli. Shelefi oir von kol zeh hu ha'oir. Which means to say that the oil is made to fit the keli. The oil could be separate outside of the keli. and can expand way beyond the keli in a manner that it cannot be even considered to be put into a keli. The oil is an oil coming from etzem. But then the oil is mistamsim. It doesn't mention it over here. It is mistamsim to the point where the oil is made to fit the keli. It is made according to the manner, according to the contours and the nature of the keli. The kli ha-chochmah, which means to say, more specifically, but the keli of chochmah, who keli le'oir ha-chochmah dafka. It's a keli for the oir of chochmah. Dafka means uniquely and exclusively. And the oil of bina does not fit into the kli ha-chochmah. Uklei habino, and then there is a keli habino, l'oir habino dafka. Is a keli for the oil of bina. Dafka again means exclusively. This is where the oil and the keli really meet, really relate. To discuss this conclusively is really not here the time. We already discussed much of it, but to get the idea, like I said yesterday, I think that the tangible muscle for this is that a human being can live in the Empire State Building. But the Empire State Building is not made for a private personal dwelling. And if you put a human being in the Empire State Building as a personal dwelling, it will not correlate. So the slapshus oibikli. V'chein b'hamidas chesed and gvura. Similarly, in the midas of chesed and gvura, sheyesh l'chol oir keli miyuchedes. That every oir, each oir, or oir ha-chesed, oir ha-gvura, has a keli miyuchedes, has a unique keli. Again, it is necessary for us to reflect. I'm sorry. That actually all of these koiches, Chabad, Chochmah, Bina, and Das, and then we have Chesed and Gvura and so forth, these are koiches that come in the form of oir ha-nefesh. Oir ha-nefesh expressing chochmah, oir ha-nefesh expressing bina, oir ha-nefesh expressing chesed and gvura. Again, to have a grasp on this, we discussed this, I think, conclusively yesterday, or one of these days. That chesed, for example, we do chesed seemingly as a response to a circumstance. We see somebody in distress, we see somebody in need, and we come to his aid. And we ought to reflect that this observation of this distress, is this instrumental in creating that whole midah, that whole quality of response? Or is this quality an independent, a presence in the human being as a human being. We pointed out the other day that if we were to look at the midas as a response being created by the circumstance, it simply means this. You see somebody in distress, you project what it feels like to be in that condition, and you experience it on your own flesh, and that entices you to go and relieve his distress. As a result of your own distress, of your feeling his distress. This is not what we mean by midas. This is similar to, you're not going to go into fire. You test the fire, oh, it's hot, go away. But human being doesn't have to go through that. He knows that fire is not something that you go into.
Water.
He knows to begin with. He understands what fire is.
So
He knows what fire is not by virtue of what are you trying to do? He knows what fire is by virtue of understanding what it is. Not by sensing its effect upon him, and projecting what would happen if I went into the fire. So therefore this is called oiris. This is actually, this knowledge initially originates in the nefesh. And then it manifests itself in individual koiches, chesed and gvura, and chochmah and bina. And these koiches, as they emanate from the nefesh, the oiris, and he said, they have specific locations, specific demarcations where they express themselves. This is the meaning of slapshus oir bikli. So the midas of chesed and gvura, which I said, I'm constantly pointing out, we should not misunderstand. We should not allow us to also be misguided to say that these are not real midas. These are just reactions. I remember years back when I was still in yeshiva, there was a man over there who lost his way, and he began to study the world from a worldly perspective. Actually, yeshiva bacher. So he comes to me and he says he used to come and talk. He was not a fool, but he got completely lost. He says, "Oh, you know, Abba, they found out. Up until now, they thought that there is something real in human feelings. A motherly love for her children is real. Now they found out that it's all selfish. That she's also concerned about for herself, not for her child." What a piece of discovery.
is that true, you say?
That's, of course, a complete misunderstanding, because we do not have a means to understand what is Oyer HaNefesh.
Or HaNefesh.
And if we are going to we have to identify everything in a concrete manner. This is what we're going to end up with. We're going to identify it by its functionality rather than by its koyach. Okay. So these koiches, and we're talking about the way it is l'mayla, the oil hachesed, oil habina, oil hagbura, they have specific kelim. This is what Atzilus oil, a world means oil bikli. Sheyesh l'chol oil kelim miyuchedes. That each oil has a kelim miyuchedes. As a specific kelim. This is the definition of world, at least at the level of Atzilus. That each function, each sphirot, functions individually on its own merits and its own parameters. Like I said the other day, to move this cup from this place to this place, you can just push it away from this place, just push it. For some reason you don't feel it right that this should be here, you want it to be there. So you push it. Whichever way you push it, with your hand, with your foot, with your body, all you do is accomplish the movement that you moved it away from this place. This is not a koyach. A koyach is that picks it up, dissociates it. It doesn't look at the object as being set in a certain place. You can pick it up and actually move it. This is what world is. World is that each koyach, each function has a unique place and a unique way that it functions. Of course, all of these koyachs have a higher source in the nefesh. But that's before world. Ultimately, when it comes into world, each thing is identified individually. This is what world is. Okay, we'll continue now. 3 lines from the end of the paragraph. Ukenoida. In the beginning, like Ukenoida, as is known, she yesh bikelim chilukim madrigas. That even amongst kelim there are different madrigas. There are kelim that are suited for oil chochmah, suited for oil habina, completely different oils, and the keli is different. As it says in Eitz Chaim, the chayehi hu bechinas hamoichim. He said, "Ihu bechayehi chayehi v'garmeicha." Chayehi, these are the kelim of moichim. V'garmoi bechinas midas. Garmoi. Okay, let's translate the words, and then it's going to be presented to us. Chayohi, we can understand Chayohi means life. Gera means a bone, which means a keli. So Chayohi bechinas hameichin, Garmoyi bechinas midis. What does it mean? So the Geras HaKedesh is, in the Geras HaKedesh, in Tanya, it says, the Chayohi hu ha'oir, that Chayohi is the oir, that's representing, so to speak, the Chayas itself. The Garmoyi bechinas haKeli. Garmoyi, this is the Inyan haKeli. So we have kind of a contradiction here. And that's Chaim says that Chayehi, this is the Moichin, this is the Kelim of Moichin. And here we're saying Chayehi, this is the Oir. And Gamoye is the B'chinas HaKeli. So the answer is explained, this is explained, V'hainu, which means to say, the Moichin, the Kelim of Moichin and Kelim of Midas have different reference. The Kelim of Moichin are referred to as Chayehi. The Kelim of Midas are referred to as Garmei. Why? They're both Kelim. The answer is because in Moichin, Gam HaKelim Heim B'chinas Chayehi. The Kelim also are B'chinas Chayehi, are in the level and have that quality of Oyer, of Chayehi. Sheheim k'moy ha'oyer, that the Kelim are like the Oyer itself. V'alkein, and thus, because the Kelim are also so refined, are like Chayehi, are like the Oyer, this is why Heim Kelim legilui Oyer hameichin. This is why they are Kelim for revealing, for allowing the Oyer hameichin to reveal itself. The Kelim, the Midos, and the Kelim of Midos, Shenikroim Garmei, they are called Garmei, the bones. Heim Kelim Rak Lo'ir HaMidos. They are Kelim all for Oir HaMidos. They cannot be Kelim for the Oir HaMeich.
Does this imply?
What?
Does this imply that the...
No, one second. So, again, we always do, what is a tangible means for us to relate? So we have a ready prepared thing. It says that sight and hearing or touch, sight is compared to chochmah. Sight is a mocho for chochmah. The Gashmir sight is representative of chochmah, and in general, more in general, it is moichin in general. There's a fundamental difference, I'm sure we all understand, between the way sight relates to objects and touch relates to objects. As we point out all the time, it's a phenomenal thing. Inside, we see the object at a distance. It doesn't touch us in any which way. And yet, we have such a clarity, such a real relationship to the object from a distance, more than any other way. But it's a physical sight. And it comes via a physical organ.
Physical
Organ.
organ.
Physical organ. The eye.
I just heard wait.
Okay, sorry. Organ. You hear it now?
Now,
Organ.
I hear it good. I got you.
Your heart.
The physical organ. So how is it that you relate to, you see something of the distance? You can't feel something at a distance if you have to touch it. Because the very keli of sight, which is the eye, is so refined, so self-effacing, non-interfering, that it is capable to present the reality without participating almost in this presentation. We don't even sense that we see through our eyes. We see, it's there. That's what we see. This is where, this is that the keli becomes like the oil itself. When we touch something, say the hand lets me know what's going on there. But we don't even sense that the eye lets us. It's there. Of course we see it. So this is the phenomenon of the kli hamoichin. Because the principle of moichin versus midos, in 2 words, moichin means to know the truth in its place as the truth is. Midos is, how do I relate to it? Completely different world. In order to present the reality, the truth, purely, it has to come to you directly from the truth. There cannot be a conduit, there cannot be a means by which you come. If it means so that the means retranslates and represents that truth. You don't see the truth. You see it the way the keli sees it. This is the greatness of sight as a muscle, and this is the greatness of moichin, particularly chochmah. This is why in chochmah there is no elaboration. Just like in sight, there's no. I see it because it's there. In chochmah there is no elaboration. There's no need for proof. I see the reality itself. Proof is necessary when you are not in the same place. But if you're in the same place, you don't need any proof. This is the pshat that the kelim of moichin, the means by which the moichin recognize things, are also like oils. And they permit the moichin to relate to the truth directly, not via the keli, as if it were not via the keli. This is it for this morning. Okay.
Good morning.
Good morning. The best that I can remember today is Thursday, and we can reconvene our normal Thursday shiur starting for today, with Hashem, and we shall try to make it 8:30. Yes?
Yes.
8:30?